We set it on our bookshelves next to our copies of Ta-Nehisi Coates and Isabel Wilkerson. We put it by our tasteful succulent gardens next to our Black Lives Matter signs or on our nightstands. We stare at the ceiling in the dark, genuinely wondering why it feels so hard to be on the right side of history. I left that sweet neighborhood in Colorado Springs when I was 18 and went to Barnard College in New York City. In new forms, I did lots of circling the block. I went to protest marches. I read slam poetry at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. I made a short film about gentrification in Harlem. I joined the campus hip-hop club. I studied abroad in South Africa and lived in a township with a Black family. I graduated and moved to Brooklyn, as one does, and lived there for a decade. I wrote a book about activism. The white moral life remained elusive. I was almost getting used to the idea that I would never have it, that it was a definitional impossibility. To have white skin and economic security in America was to be tangled up in the sin of what historian Aristotle Callis calls the hierarchy of human life. And then I became a mother. And it was as if the universe dared me both to give up altogether on this quest for the white moral life, which felt like frivolous intellectual bullshit in the face of my kids' real needs, and simultaneously to double down. The gift of adulthood is not a mortgage, I realized, but the freedom to pursue a moral life on your own terms, even if you are white, especially if you are white, and to let your children witness you trying. This is the story of that trying. A note on the making of this book. I have agonized over the ethics of telling this particular story at this particular time. Journalists claim that they are objective, that once you interview a person, you have every right to use anything they've said. That's obviously bullshit. Memoirists claim that they are subjective, that once you've witnessed or experienced something, you have every right to tell it your way. That's obviously bullshit. So here I am, somewhere in between, trying not to give you, listener, or the people who got entangled in my decisions, any bullshit. I changed the names of all the kids, except my own, and most adults too. Maya and Stella are already in the public record because the poor fools have a writer for a mom. Don't worry, I'm saving up for lots of therapy. I kept the names of people who are public figures. I showed sections of this manuscript to many of those described in these pages, which wasn't always easy. I tried to write no angels or villains, which wasn't always easy. I believe that our kids will do better when we grown-ups do the hard stuff of seeing one another's humanity, even when we passionately disagree, and telling the truth about our own confusion and failures within education. I've capitalized ethnic designations throughout the manuscript, including white. I'm following the lead of sociologist Eve L. Ewing, who writes that by not capitalizing white, we conspire with the myth that white people are normal, neutral, or without any race at all, while the rest of us are saddled with this unpleasant business of being racialized. This book is very much about racializing white people, myself included. I attempt to write with a white double consciousness, as the philosopher Linda Martine Alcoff puts it, which is to say, I attempt to see myself through both a dominant and non-dominant lens and recognize the latter as a critical corrective truth. I got feedback from many friends, among whom are brilliant anti-racist organizers, professional editors, and experts in education. I learned so much from them. From one critical friend in particular, Dr. Dina Simmons. Dina, a Black woman, and I met a decade ago when I was reporting my book, Do It Anyway, The New Generation of Activists, and have since developed a rich friendship. She supports schools, districts, and other organizations at the intersection of social and emotional health, racial justice, and healing with her organization, Liberate Ed. By including her feedback here, I'm essentially showing my work, so you can learn from my mistakes and shortcomings. This thing, after all, is called learning in public. I believe that writers, especially white and/or privileged writers, need to reach for more honest ways to think about our own power when crafting stories and about our own access to those who decide what stories get told. It is my experience that much of what we claim is journalism.